Hey guys, what is up? This is a follow-up video to a video that I had unlisted because I was asking for help. Basically, I do have so my replacement main caps showed up. Let me zoom in on that. Oops. Replaced the main cap. I replaced the bridge rectifier. And I replaced the 7805. Again, same problems. I tried pulling I socketed and pulled all of the multi-purpose chips, I guess I would say, because they're not specific to the NES. So, tried replacing those. Didn't work. And then it dawned on me. What if, since presumably the system is not getting a clock signal, what if I try installing my own oscillator into the system? Since I have some 24 megahertz crystals, I decided to go ahead and use one of these to, test and see if that would give a workable clock signal to the rest of the system. Fortunately, it didn't speed up the CPU. Well, it did, but it's kind of hard to explain. And unfortunately, I couldn't test if it fixed the PPU, because the PPU cannot handle being overclocked at all. So, I tried that. In my last video, I also said, test board when I was referring to this Toploader board. This system was actually a system that I've had since 2010-ish. I originally sent it to Game-TechUS and got it AV modded. In fact, I'll be honest, I was so impressed by that at the time. That was one of the factors that made me want to learn how to solder. But that's not really part of this. This board I actually wrecked when I was attempting to stereo mod the system on my own, approximately 2 years after I had it AV modded by him. Basically, I burned the shit out of the solder mask, and you know what? There's no point in trying to repair this. I have tried, but I can't get I can't get anything from this board. It's just so I'm assuming this board is dead for good. But I was able to steal some parts from it and make it useful. SRAM in this system still worked, and so did the CPU. I killed the PPU a while ago. Oh, you know, I will say one more thing about this board. This is a great example of ESD problems that I had. Even though I burned the shit out of the solder mask when I was attempting to stereo mod the system back in 2012, maybe 2013, I did not wear anti-static protection at the time, and well, my PPU paid for that. I definitely fried it by ESD. So, for those who are questioning ESD and whether or not it exists, it definitely does, and I learned that the hard way with this system. But am I talking about old systems or this system? Anyways, I've done every single possible repair I can think of on this system. I don't know what to do. Basically, I'm just going to run through the traces, check for continuity, and hopefully I'll find the broken trace. Because at this point, that's really the only thing it could be. Something I will add before I do that, though, is this is the customer's PPU. Amazingly, this PPU still works. I don't know how it survived being bombarded by a rotary tool, but it did. And I know this because in my last video, when I did say test system, it occurred to me, wait a second, as I was rewatching it, that I don't have a test system. So I actually soldered a spare Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt cart directly to one of my toasters, and took the RF modulator off the toaster and replaced it with 2N3904 and some resistors, some pull down resistors, and stuff like that. Stuck this PPU in there, and sure enough, I got a great video signal, and I left it on for a couple hours, and when I returned home, it was still on. It's still going strong. So this is just a good PPU. Hopefully, though, I can figure out what's wrong. So let's start going through all of the traces on the system. You can actually test this. For those that don't know, you can check for continuity with continuity check with a multimeter. It's likely, I would say, one of the most useful features that exists on a multimeter. Alright, start with pin 18, because that is the one I have questions about. 7, 8, 9. You know, in theory, I should actually be getting continuity between pin 9 or pin 18 and pin 29 of the CPU, and my multimeter's not on the screen entirely. And you know what? I'm not. I'm getting no continuity. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that's pin 9. I'm actually trying to figure out where the clock signals intersect on the board, because PPU again should be intersecting with the same line that the CPU is grabbing clock signal from. So, After looking at the schematic for the NES online, unfortunately, I couldn't find a Toploader schematic. I don't think it exists online, but the Toaster schematic is very similar to the Toploader. Same with the AV Famicom. So I took a look at those, and sure enough, my thought was right. PPU pin 29, or excuse me, CPU pin 29 and PPU pin 18 should have continuity between each other. At least that, or I should only get, let's see, I should get maybe a couple 100K of resistance between the two, but I don't get a thing. So, let's go ahead and try wiring CPU pin 29 directly to PPU pin 20 or pin 18. Since I can't find a broken trace, I'm gonna just see if I can grab a clock signal directly from where the CPU is. I also looked online, and it turns out, and let's turn that light on so I can see a little bit better. It turns out that that the PPU is actually what divides the clock signal, which would explain why the CPU is going so slow. Alright, let's try that. Let's go ahead and adjust the angle of my camera as well. Well, that is unfortunately the best I can do in angle of showing both the board and my TV. Let's go ahead and stick the PPU back in the socket. Let's grab video and audio, so I can see if either have changed, and make sure there's nothing under the system. Fun fact for those that don't know. If you have one jack grounded when you're doing the Toploader AV mod, you never have to ground audio, which is pretty convenient because, you know, extra wires just means more chance of fucking something up. Alright, where is there it is. Let's clip that to the resistors where I can grab CPU sound from. Let's go ahead and put in Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse. No way. No way. I cannot believe that. Oh my god. So, you may be thinking, wow, that video signal looks like shit. How is he excited about that? Well, I'm excited because I'm not grabbing amplified video. I'm grabbing video directly from PPU pin 21, and you know what? It's working. Oh my god, I'm so relieved. This was the last thing I could have tried, so I guess that confirms that my thought about the CPU pin clock pin and PPU clock pin should be intersecting somewhere on the board. Likely the trace was damaged somewhere. I couldn't find that trace, so I just stuck a wire in between pin 29 and pin 18, and you know what? I'm obviously getting a clock signal, and I'm getting a video signal and an audio signal. I am so relieved about that because I didn't have anything left to try. I'm actually gonna go ahead and leave this system on for a while and see if there's any other problems that arise with the system. Hopefully I can show you the AV mod before I close up the system.